I'm Djuker Willis Hart. I'm a Waka Waka Cookie Lungy and Butcher man from Queensland. I was born here in Tasmania, and tonight I am coming to have a yarn on the panel talking about cultural perspective in sustainable foods and animal and plant management. And we're also going to share some traditional dance that's based around, I guess, the appreciation or the respect that we give to animals so that we understand about what we're taking and why we utilise all of the animal when we do so. A lot of our knowledge and I guess our information is passed down through the dance and the stories that we share. I think food can be so much more. It's a way of connecting to people, like in a cultural sense. Cultures all across the world, we use food as a way of connecting.
This event, Eat It All, is part of a program called Too Good to Waste, about helping Tasmanians reduce their food waste and also reconnecting eaters to where their food comes from and the stories of provenance behind our food, because we know that when people know where their food comes from, they value it more, and that leads all the way to how we cook and prepare food in the home and ultimately waste less food. For me, eating together is a form of resilience and community building, and that's what I love about events like this.
I mean, the only way to really cook with food waste is to see what waste there is to use. So yeah, I talked with Loaves and Fishes and saw what they had in their stores and what was in season and what farmers had to get rid of that they couldn't use, couldn't sell. And then I basically built a menu around that.
To tell you a little bit more about Sam, he's headed up notable kitchens across Hobart. Sam's quest for zero waste cooking saw him undertake a tranche scholarship throughout Europe to learn about sustainable cooking. He is really here to address waste in all his work.
Food and nature and community and all that stuff really just, I see it as one sort of big bubble.
Our first panellist, the waste whisperer himself, Chef Sam Bray.
Sam. Sorry, I forgot you earlier.
Let's hope they let him out of the kitchen. All right, we're going to move on to our next speaker. Oh no, he's here. Great, fantastic.
We've noticed a massive change in the seasons in the last year or two, couple of years, where we're having native plants going into flower and multiple times throughout the year. And we have a lot of the animals that are breeding in different times of the year as well. So at the moment, the world's going through a massive change. It's going through a massive shift. A lot of that's due to sort of global warming and things. And in an Indigenous perspective, we've seen this hundreds of times, if not thousands of times over, thousands and thousands of years. But for the society of today, it's kind of a very big shock.
I think here in the TUSA office, we talk a lot about kind of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I think there's a really old school perception that students have to do it tough to come out on the other side and to be a part of society and to contribute. But I think it just overlooks the really fundamental basics of life, which is if you've got food to eat, you're happier, you can work harder, you have the ability to make social connections and really live your life.
And so you'll see on the table the conversation tree, This stemmed from an insight from one of the students that they felt too embarrassed or shy to go and eat in a public place. So in the student accommodation, they would take their food, even if it was provided, and they would go back to their rooms and eat rather than sitting and sharing in a communal way. And so this became an insight to kind of turn into a design opportunity to ask how might we bring people together with deliberate conversations so they don't feel sort of overwhelmed by social anxiety over food, because it is such a social space to exist in.
Thank you all so much. Tonight we've raised almost $4,000. That's enough money to cover an entire month's worth of food for students across our 5 food hubs.
Tonight is a dinner party with a twist. We're celebrating food waste and its delicious potential in the hopes that you leave here with the know-how and inspiration to save more of your food from ending up in the bin. Grateful for this evening. This has been such a beautiful community event. So many people that we didn't know about, a few weeks ago, put their hands up to volunteer and make this happen. We fed over 250 people with lots of food that would normally end up in the bin, and we had brilliant conversations, lots of new connections, and I feel really proud of the community that we built this evening.